Let's introduce Fares Braizat, researcher at the Arab Centre for Research and Policy Studies in Doha, and with me in the studio now. Good to have you with us. Just speaking to that particular young man on the phone, clearly a lot of anger in Iraq. There are power shortages, there's a lack of water, there's high unemployment, and corruption, again, is one of the big issues that is causing a lot of anger among protesters. Absolutely.
I think the underpinning issue of all this is legitimacy. And I think the legitimacy of all regimes in the region, whether they are elected or not elected, is being seriously challenged. Now, there are challenges that have been in place for a long time, mainly lack of efficiency on the part of governments to deliver water, electricity, food supplies, services, education, healthcare, everything else. In Iraq in particular, I think there is not only services shortage legitimacy, but also there is a political shortage legitimacy, which is mainly the current status quo in Iraq is being organized around sectarian lines and ethnic lines. And this is something that the Iraqi people have not endorsed and they have not supported. It has been imposed on them, and I think this is partly a revolt against sectarian non-civic identity of Iraq, of the new Iraq.
And it's interesting that to try and stop these protests, Nouri al-Maliki came out and denounced the protesters as Baathists, Saddam loyalists.
I think this is all these regimes. I don't think Maliki is a Democrat. I think he has the outlook of an autocrat. He has the outlook of an elected dictator, and we know the manipulation of the political process that he insisted on with the huge support from Iran in order to get his way in Iraq, although that was not the majority. He was not the leader of the majority bloc in Iraq as a result of the elections in March last year. And I believe that there is a very strong challenge to this, to the way that he is conducting politics in Iraq. The fact that the young Iraqi people who basically started from Kadhimiyya, which is a Shia neighborhood, they went through to Al-Azamiyya, which is a Sunni neighborhood, and all together went to Tahrir Square in Baghdad, demanding end of corruption, demanding end of manipulation, demanding better services, demanding accountable government. This is a statement about the Iraqi people. The Iraqi people have rediscovered that what they have been through in the past 7 years is not what the real Iraqi people are.
But do you think they've caught the mood of what's happening throughout the region? I mean, would we have seen these demonstrations like these without what happened in Tunisia, in Egypt, without what's happened in Libya? Because these demonstrations are taking place in cities across Iraq, and there definitely seems to be a mood of revolution, of demand for change.
Absolutely. The mood in the region is a mood of liberation. We have been living under authoritarian despots, dictators for a long time. And our interests as people of the region, I think, have not been served by these regimes to the best they can do. I think they were interested more in their staying in power and serving the interests of the international powers that support their existence and their continuity in power. And actually, when we look at the reactions from Tunisia to Egypt, to Libya today, to Iraq, Yemen, all these reactions by the regimes to the protesting.
But Iraq had a political process. I mean, it's different from the other countries.
But if we think about their reactions to it, they all blamed Islamist radical groups, Al-Qaeda, in Iraq, Saddam loyalists and Baathists, and I think this is only trying to delegitimize this movement, and this is not going to happen, because I think the roots of the problem are so rooted that they cannot be uprooted. And I think now what we are seeing across the region is people rediscovering their power to effect change without necessarily, without any bloodshed, with peaceful demands, with something that we have discovered in Tunisia and in Egypt time and again, that people are a lot more civilized, a lot more progressive, a lot more rational than the regimes wanted us to believe them to be. And I think what we have seen in terms of civic identity, civic behavior on the part of the revolutionaries in Tunisia and in in Egypt today and in Iraq is a statement that those regimes, they have tried very hard to show the ugly face of the people of the region, and the people of the region, they are now insisting on showing the real face, which is more of a humanitarian face, more of an ethical one that has a new morality, a new framework of moral values, insisting on humanity, insisting on equality before the law, intrinsic equality, these kind of things that what we are seeing now. And I think this is establishing a new trend in the region, and that will not stop at the region. I think it will go beyond the region, because this is history making in process.
Okay, Fares, for the moment, thank you very much indeed for that. Well, you're watching.